What's up? It's Dee Dally reviewing God of War Ascension.
I pledged an oath in blood. And now my home, all that I loved, is gone. Pain is all I have left.
Hello, Kratos.
You have no reason to trust me, Spartan. I only ask that you try.
An army in disarray.
What's up, everybody? This is Dee Dally, and I'm reviewing God of War Ascension, obviously, that y'all clicked on. And before I get into the review, I wanted to talk a little bit about the trial of Archimedes. And here's your host with the most, Dee Dally, talking about the trial of Archimedes. Everybody is seeming to have this big problem with this section of the game of God of War Ascension, from reviewers like Adam Sessler, IGN, saying that they spent 6 hours, 7 hours, 9 hours to beat that one part. Adam Sessler had to get somebody else to beat the game. To beat that one part. He had to get somebody else. And from what I get, 9 times out of 10, reviewers play the game on easy to normal, like I did. I played the game on normal, so they can get the review out in time, so they can beat the game a lot quicker with no thing and just write the review. So you mean to tell me y'all couldn't beat the game, and now because everybody's crying about this one part, the trial of Archimedes, they're sending out a patch to make it much easier for everybody that's whining or crying? No, you don't send out a patch. Here is what you do. You tell them to be a true gamer, see what you're doing right, see what you're doing wrong, like I did, and come with new tactics, like I did, to get past this trial. I unfucking believable that you people are whining and crying and say, oh my god, it's so hard. I had a harder time on God of War 2, where I had to protect the priest or the sermon or whatever the hell he was. And if he died, then that level, and you had to restart over again. I had a harder time on that. On easy, on normal. Give me a break. Come on, be true gamers out there. Adam Sessler, I think you need to redefine your job position if you couldn't beat this part. Thank you. Calm down. Adam, I love you, by the way. This game, here goes the full review. This game, and I won't take up too much time because I don't want to spoil anything. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm just going to give a perspective from what I experienced. This game is lukewarm in the beginning. And when you play the game, you know what I'm talking about. It's like, okay, I'm doing this, and I'm doing that, and I'm running here, and I'm running over there, and what am I exactly doing again? The story is so confusing in the beginning. You're like, yeah, well, he's seeing visions and seeing all this other crap, and it's just like, wow, is this a God of War game? Even the PSP had better openings to a God of War series, and it almost saddened me because I was like, part 1, you had the Hydras, part 2, you had the Colossus, part 3, you had that epic battle with Poseidon. This is obviously a next-gen game on PlayStation 3, so where was the heat? I was just so disappointing with what they. I mean, obviously the level in the beginning of the game in the prison of the Damned is okay, it's cool. But it didn't have that, like a lot of people are saying, that punch, like, wow, that that was crazy. Because it's, in a sense, it seemed like, oh man, we didn't see it in God of War 3 before. So that's why I was so like, oh wow. Now that we've seen it and we're 3 years into where God of War 3 first was released in 2010, and y'all still are doing stuff that we already saw? It's okay. So the story goes like this. Kratos is obviously, if you play God of War 1, he's having these visions, he's having these nightmares about his family and blah blah blah, and he's trying to get a grip with reality in this game because the Furies, which are these villain females, are driving him crazy because he broke a blood oath with Ares. Okay, that's fine and dandy. Did we really need this game? No. They explained in all the other games, especially 1, 2, Chain of Olympus, blah blah blah. There was one game in this saga, which is this is the 6th game right now. We really didn't need this game to tell us anything other than this is how he lost his nightmares, this is how he stayed sane. You couldn't have done that in a PSP Vita or something. No, you made me spend $60, which I love God of War. It's my favorite series, so I'm not a hater. But you made me spend money about something that I already know. But knowing that I'm a God of War fan, I'm going to buy it anyway. But thank you, because I already knew this. You just put a bunch of battles together and a bunch of malarkey and made me do a game that I already knew what happened to Kratos. So that's where I'm kind of coming from. The combat system in the beginning is so broke. You're thinking to yourself, the main weapon in the game is the Blades of Chaos, Blades of Exile, Blades of Athena, Blades of whatever the hell you want to call them. And you're sitting here like they're broke up into 4. You got Zeus's power, you got Poseidon's power, you got Hades' power, and you got Ares' power. And I'm thinking to myself, so you gotta go between them to each. Obviously Ares is the best one, but you gotta go in between to just do some moves that you would normally have in the other series? Huh? I'm sitting here like, okay. And then you're only stuck with 1 power and 2. The probably the halfway through the game, you're only stuck with 1 fiery Ares power, magic power. And in this halfway point, that's when the game really heats up, and it felt like Kratos had a purpose, and it felt like you're not just going here, going there, fighting a couple of things. And if you could cut this game in half, leave out the first half of this game would be epic. This game would be great. This game would be right up there with the other ones, but because you have to put the first half of the game with the ending and the midway point and all that, it lacks. It really does. And it shows that they probably took more time in multiplayer, which I haven't played and I probably even won't play because God of War doesn't need a multiplayer. Really, who's going to play it? It shows in the story quality where they took I knew it. That's why I was like, oh man, as soon as they said this game was multiplayer, I knew it. I was like, oh man, this game is going to suffer. This game is really there goes my glasses. This game is going to suffer. So it took away. It was like in the first half of this game, they were so focused on multiplayer that they wanted to get through in multiplayer, and then after multiplayer was done, the second half of this game, it was like they woke up and everybody started writing. And the moves and everything, it just felt real weak. It felt, obviously it had its bloody moments, but it didn't have that impact. Like, if you played God of War before, it didn't have that impact where you were like, wow, that was hot. Like, case in point, when you fight one of those snake, whatever the fuck they're called, those snake bitches, Part of my friends, so I love women. Remember in God of War 3 where Kratos got out of it and cut lines through her? That's not even in this game. I'm like, where did that go? I was like, what? It just felt watered down mechanically. There's a lot of bugs that I noticed. And from a story that we really didn't need, because we also played in Chains of Olympus and Ghosts of Sparta. Why did we need this game? Where's God of War 4? I don't get it. I'm not hating on the game. I just seems like it wasn't needed. And it was disappointing that instead of a whole game, it was a half a game. And it's really disappointing because all the other ones were whole games because they were focused so much on the single player and not the multiplayer. Sorry, I'm going to give this game a 7 out of 10. Dee Dally. I'm Kratos, and I'm gonna fuck your asshole. Fucking gods.